The night of April 13, 2024, the world held its breath as Iran launched its first-ever direct military attack on Israeli territory. This wasn't symbolic. This was an attempted annihilation. Over 300 deadly projectiles screamed across the Middle East sky. 170 explosive suicide drones, 30 cruise missiles flying low and fast, and 120 ballistic missiles traveling at hypersonic speeds, over Mach 10. A coordinated saturation attack designed to do one thing: overwhelm Israel's defenses and destroy critical military targets. But by sunrise, something astonishing had happened. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, approximately 99% of the incoming threats were intercepted. Hundreds of missiles and drones destroyed. How? This is the untold story of the most sophisticated air defense battle in human history. 4 layers of protection, allied forces from 3 nations, and American technology that just had its first combat test. Let's break it down. Welcome to Battlefield Insights, where we analyze real military operations with verified data. No speculation, no propaganda. This breakdown uses official statements from the Israeli Defense Forces, U.S. Central Command, and independent analysis from defense experts. We're going to examine Iran's 3-wave attack strategy, reveal how Israel's 4-layer defense system works, and show you the critical role American forces played in this battle. If you want to understand modern warfare, hit subscribe right now, because this changes everything. Iran's attack plan was strategically sophisticated. This was a saturation attack in 3 coordinated waves, each with different speeds and purposes. Wave 1 launched first. Over 170 Shahab, 136 kamikaze drones. These Iranian copies of Russian designs cruise at just 115 miles per hour. Slow, vulnerable, cheap, costing maybe $20,000 to $50,000 each. But their job wasn't to hit targets. They were bait. Flying decoys designed to light up Israel's radar network and force defenders to launch multi-million-dollar interceptor missiles against cheap drones. It's economic warfare. Make Israel spend a fortune destroying junk. Hours later, as Israeli defenses tracked the drone swarm, Wave 2 launched approximately 30 cruise missiles, including the Pave variant. Flying at 500+ miles per hour and hugging the terrain to avoid radar detection, these were designed to slip through while defenses were overwhelmed by the drone swarm. But the real killers were saved for last. Wave 3, over 120 ballistic missiles, including Emad, Ghadr, and possibly Shahab 3 variants. These monsters launch into space, reach speeds exceeding Mach 10, and re-enter the atmosphere directly over their targets in just minutes. The drones and cruise missiles were distractions. These ballistic missiles were the sledgehammers. Their primary target, Nevatim Airbase in southern Israel, home to the country's most advanced F-35 stealth fighters. If Iran could destroy those jets on the ground, it would be a strategic catastrophe. But they didn't know what was waiting for them. Israel and its allies were ready, and the defense began not over Tel Aviv but in outer space. This is Layer 4, Arrow 3, the world's first operational Exo-Atmospheric interceptor. Jointly developed by Israel and the United States with American funding and Boeing technology, Arrow 3 does something no other system can. It destroys ballistic missiles outside Earth's atmosphere. Here's how it works. The interceptor launches, its rocket booster falls away, and a small kill vehicle, essentially a guided spacecraft, maneuvers using tiny thrusters to intercept the incoming warhead at speeds exceeding Mach 9. When they collide at 60 miles altitude in the vacuum of space, both are obliterated instantly. No explosion, just physics. This is where the majority of Iran's most dangerous ballistic missiles died, silently, invisibly, in space. But at 3.5 million per interceptor, and with Iran launching 120 ballistic missiles, you can already see the cost adding up. And not all of them were stopped in space. A handful of ballistic missiles made it through Layer 4. Either the timing was off, or there simply weren't enough Arrow 3 missiles to engage every target simultaneously. This is the harsh reality of saturation attacks. Even the best defense has limits. That's where Layer 3 comes in. Arrow 2 is the backup. For any ballistic missiles that survived the first interception attempt, Arrow 2 engages them at high altitude, but inside the atmosphere at 20 to 50 miles up. It acts as the final safety net for hypersonic threats. Between Arrow 3 and Arrow 2, Israeli officials claim nearly every ballistic missile was neutralized. Layer 2 is David's Sling, and this is where American partnership is most visible. Co-developed with Raytheon, the U.S. defense contractor, David's Sling uses the Stunner interceptor to hunt down cruise missiles, large rockets, and aircraft. As Iran's cruise missiles approached, flying low through Iraqi and Jordanian airspace, David's Sling went to work. And finally, Layer 1, the famous Iron Dome. Its job was cleanup, intercepting the slow-moving Shahab drones and any short-range projectiles that leaked through the upper layers. Each Tamir interceptor costs $40,000 to $100,000. Destroying a $20,000 drone with a $100,000 missile isn't efficient, but it's necessary. But here's what makes this truly historic. Israel wasn't alone. This was a coalition defense. For the first time ever, U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, including the USS Carney, fired SM-3 interceptors in actual combat, destroying ballistic missiles over the Mediterranean and Red Sea. British Royal Air Force Typhoons shot down drones over Iraq. Jordan's Air Force intercepted drones in their own airspace. This was an Allied shield, and American technology was at its core. The result of this multi-layered defense? According to the IDF, approximately 99% of incoming threats were intercepted. Iran's state media claimed total success, but satellite imagery tells a different story. At Nevatim Airbase, the primary target, a few ballistic missiles did get through the shield. They struck a runway, causing a crater, one hit a warehouse or storage hangar, but the critical infrastructure? Intact, the hardened aircraft shelters protecting Israel's F-35s? Undamaged. The base was back to full operations within hours. In military terms, Iran failed to achieve its strategic objective, but this victory came at an astonishing price. According to estimates from Israeli defense analysts, and these are estimates because the government won't release official figures, the defensive operation cost Israel somewhere between $1 billion and $1.3 billion for a single night. Let that sink in. One night, over $1 billion. Compare that to Iran's attack cost, approximately $80 to $100 million for all 300-plus projectiles combined. Iran spent $100 million, Israel and its allies spent over $1 billion to stop it. That's a 13-to-1 cost ratio. An Arrow 3 interceptor costs $3.5 million. A Shahab drone costs $20,000. You shoot down 50 drones? That's $175 million in interceptors against $1 million in drones. This raises the most controversial question in modern warfare. Who actually won? Israel stopped the attack and suffered minimal damage. That's a tactical victory. But Iran proved it can strike Israel directly anytime it wants, and it can do so far cheaper than Israel can defend. That's a strategic problem, and it's one Israel has to solve. So how was one of the largest missile and drone attacks in history defeated? It wasn't a single system. It was a system of systems. 4 layers of technology, operating in perfect synchronization from the vacuum of space down to the streets of Tel Aviv. It was Israeli innovation, American technology, Allied cooperation. Iran tested the shield on April 13, 2024, and the shield held. It proved that in 21st century warfare, the most powerful weapon isn't a single missile or drone, it's a network. A network of sensors, interceptors, and allies all working as one. But it also revealed a new, brutal reality. Defense is now more expensive than offense. The attacker chooses when and where to strike. The defender has to be ready everywhere, all the time. And that math? That might be the next strategic problem no technology can solve. If you appreciate fact-based military analysis without propaganda from either side, subscribe to Battlefield Insights. We break down real operations with verified data. Next video, Israel's response options. What targets inside Iran are they likely to strike, and what would the consequences be? You won't want to miss that. Links on screen. See you in the next one.